Alright guys, thanks for watching. The DMZ world has certainly changed since Season 1, and one of the things that I've noticed is happening a lot is teams are being pre-made as soon as they enter. And in this video, I ended up on a squad doing squad fill, and it was very clear that the team was gunning for another side of the map to meet up with another team, which is what they did prior to this video clip starts. And they left me behind so that they could go squad up. I guess they figured that I would just do my own thing, but I decided to follow them along, and I did. And when I discovered that what they were doing was squatting up and then going immediately after other teams, be it hunt squads or just bullying them down, I followed along in order to stay alive. But towards the end, you'll see that it gets to be just a little too much, and I think the team gets their comeuppance. So let's check out the video, and here we go. So the video starts out here where I was all the way over at the quarry area where we spawned, and these guys jumped into a vehicle immediately and drove over to this side of the map. So I guess their team spawned here, and they had just pre-made outside of Al Mazrah City and moved into this area, which was fairly clear that they were looking for other squads. So I figured that's what they were doing. Now, it's not to say they weren't helpful, because here they are, they were building vests, and they dropped one. I was able to pick up a stealth vest. That was kind of nice. And I had gotten some stuff along the way, so I sold it, loaded up on some gear, and again, continued to follow them. But every time I tried to catch up to them, it seemed that they were trying to get away from me. So it became a bit of a game for me of like, how well can I just kind of stay with this team that clearly doesn't want me to be part of their squad? Admittedly, there are parts here where I do have some trouble keeping up with them, because I generally play a lot of solo when I play during the day, and I avoid areas like this part of Al Mazrah City because of the large buildings and the snipers that are always hanging out at the top of them. I am all about getting into a PvP with other teams, but generally when I'm running solo, I'm trying to accomplish missions, and I don't specifically look for trouble, but when it finds me, we do it, and we do our best.
Actual target is half a click to your west.
Take the gold bar, drop that medic vest so that another enemy team doesn't find it. I know that seems a little cruel, but, you know, the less advantage I give another team, better. So, it looks like we're floating in for this hunt squad. Now, this is a legit hunt squad. They got a contract, so it is what it is. But the advantage that this team has, being a 5-man squad versus what is probably a 1, 2, or 3-man squad, always feels a little bit unfair. So I'm involved, but I'm hanging back for the most part. I'd like to try to make sure that if I can help my team stay alive, I will, but I don't want to be as aggressive as they are, because it seems if I can make it so that it's a little more even matched, 3-on-3, even 4-on-3, then I'm going to let that happen. And I do get involved here in a minute. I push a little bit, and it costs me, but luckily the team is kind enough to not let me completely fail out. They appear to be upstairs. They just throw a Molotov down the stairs, trying to hit the players that are coming up, including me. I don't know that they know I'm here because I've got the stealth vest on. They threw that thermite just as we walked in, so I know they're in this room above me. but we all know that they're in this room above me.
Ammo box destroyed.
I don't know how many are in here, but I see the laser, and I'm thinking I can drop them.
Our UAV is orbiting the area.
He was just a little faster than I was. And then it looks like the second one is the one that finished me. So there's two in there, I know that now, and I figure either they're going to leave me behind or they'll res me when the fight's over. And that's it. Guy going by worst player ever is the last to die. And so now I'm just hoping somebody picks me up, and it looks like they're going to do that. So the adventure will continue. Alright, so a little bit down past after we left that police station, it appears that we were going to go and take out the pyro here at the embassy. Again, they had run off without me once they res me, and I had to catch up. I ran here and I did, and it looked like they were getting the absolute hell kicked out of them by the bots, and we all know that the bots are over-P in a lot of places at this point, and this is no different. You know, when you got the pyro and you got all his guards, it can be pretty rough, but you know, again, they're a 4-squad. I call them a 4-squad even though technically we're a 5-squad, and they managed to handle it pretty good. So we hang out here, we do a little looting, grab some more gear from what the pyro dropped, and then it's on to the next section. So once again, after they get themselves out of the embassy, they all hopped into a car and they drove off. There's one guy still hanging around here at embassy, but I am again playing catch up. So I run into a bunch of bots here, have to take them out or at least avoid them, and eventually I'm gonna snag this car and play follow the leader one more time and see if I can catch up to where all these guys went. Turned out to be just another quick trip to the buy station here, then a little visit over to this building to my left, and they're all looting. I don't know if they're looking for GPUs or what at this point, but it doesn't appear that they're actively doing much of anything here for another couple of minutes, but you'll see it starts again. Eventually, after looting that building, I make my way to the top of the tower because that's where one of these guys was, and I realize, oh, okay, he is taking that high-rise snipe position, and they've got their eyes on a team. So I'm taking a look down. I notice that there's at least 2 of them. I'm guessing there's 3. I don't have a sniper, and to be honest, I don't want to engage and just start shooting at a team for no good reason from here anyway. So, again, I'm hanging back. I'm keeping an eye on them. The game is what it is, so I'm not completely uninvolved. I'm spotting them for the team, but I don't actively want to jump in and just like knock them all out with this broadside. It just seems that we're overpowering smaller teams for no good reason at this point. But I also don't want to die, so to increase my chances of survival, I try to stay close to the team.
Advanced UAV deployed. Targets are up.
And as you can see there were 2 in the building on the floor below the roof, and there's one up there, and he doesn't have long. He's down. And I give it to these guys. You'll see here in a moment, like once we all started pushing this team, like they did a good job of knocking some of these guys down and giving them a little bit of what they deserve, but ultimately the fact that we outnumbered them is and was their downfall.
Ultra One, be advised, winds are picking up. Move to an extraction point.
Have an ammo box here.
I sure hope there's no AI over here to worry about while I'm concentrating. Oh, there's 2 more. I guess I'll take them. It is art museum, so there's always 3 tiers over here.
Friendly UAV on station.
Like I said, you got to give it to this 3 squad. They're doing their best to stay alive, and they do a pretty good job of it. They knock a couple of these guys pretty good. But again, just from all angles and how many of them there are, they really didn't stand a chance. And you feel bad for them because I'd like to pick them up, but there's 3 of them, and we're already a 5 squad, so that would mean 2 of them are going back to the lobby, and I don't want to cause any rift if they're like a trio of friends and one of them gets to survive and the other 2 don't. And so ultimately, that's why I didn't pick them up.
Nearby operators are looking
We'll take
for
some of their
additional
gear, though,
teammates.
because at this point I need it.
Ultra One, an operator is near your location and requesting medical. Ultra One, a squad mate is
I think
down.
that these guys just got so beat up from this fight that was a bot that took the teammate down that time. So again, the fight is over. We have now taken out another team, and you know, we spend the next couple of minutes just looting them and, you know, taking whatever gear we can and fighting off the bots that seem to be never-ending.
I'm getting stitched up.
Now, eventually, we do leave that area and finally look to what appears to be us heading to an exfil. So I'm thinking, okay, good, maybe we're done bullying the map and we're gonna get out of here. So we head to exfil, destroy our vehicle, because the vehicles, I'm pretty sure, are weaker in Season 4 than they were in previous seasons, and I think it's time to get out. But not before we get ourselves one more instance of being a bully to what at the time I believed was a solo player, and that was sort of the last strike for me.
Ultra One, enemy threat appears low in this area.
Not far off the area where we are now, there's an LTV, and you'll see it here in a second. It'll be on the corner of the map, and then I get a quick peek at it, but try to avoid it seeing me, because I really don't feel like getting run over. I can't tell you how many times an LTV has just ran me over and left me there for dead. And while I'm pretty sure these guys would pick me up, I'd rather not cause a delay in getting to exfil, although I am confused as to why the exfil hadn't been called in yet at this point. So I'm starting to worry that we're camping this exfil, and that's one thing I think is it's just one of the dirtiest things you can do in the game, is just sit in exfil and wait for a team to try to leave and just stop them from doing it. It just seems so messed up to me that I don't like the idea of engaging in it.
Making effective fire.
Ultra One, a squad mate
Now, I
is
couldn't
down.
see the perspective, but I'm pretty sure that squad mate that is down was down by a player, because he went down quick, and I haven't seen the LTV until just now. It was just there at the corner of the map, and I did notice it, and I realized, oh, he probably got killed by this guy. So I'm going to go try and take a look for him, make sure I know where he's at, because it looks like he got out for a second, but just as I come around the corner, he's back in it, and it's driving directly towards me. So I try to get out of the way because I really, like I said, don't want to get killed. But check this out.
Ultra One, Dino Force inbound for extraction.
Hey, I'm sorry. Do you want to team up?
He tried to apologize. It looked like there was just one of them, and he just kept going. So I'm like, okay, he survived. We're not going to push him and make this poor guy go back to the lobby, because he did appear to be a solo. So Exfill's coming in, and I'm fairly sure it's time to go.
Ultra One, Dino 4. We're approaching the LZ. Get it secure. Ultra One, Dino 4. We're standing by. Get to the extraction point.
Alright,
now.
boys, it's time to go. But nope, it's time to get more ammo. Okay, I guess I can pick up ammo. It doesn't make much of a difference, seeing that we're getting on a helicopter. This is what's going on in my head at this point. I'm like, why aren't we all getting on? Or they just want... Maybe they just want to call in the exfil and see who tries to get on it. And then I noticed that they ping where final exfil is going to be. And that's when I made my decision that I'm not going with them anymore. Like, I don't want to push another team just for the sake of pushing another team. I didn't see any missions that required killing operators. We didn't get a hunt squad, so it wasn't even an in-game mission. It was just, let's kill players for the sake of killing players. So I decided to get out. But the video doesn't end here, because I also decided that I was going to spectate and see just what this team decided to do at the end. And it was interesting, to say the least, to see how this goes. So that LTV is back, as you can see, and I found that interesting, because here it is going to the final exfil that just drove past. I think these guys are going to the other LTV, because it's got a gun on it. But you saw that LTV that just drove to where final exfil is going to be, and just as I thought, they are in fact loading up to push this last solo player at the final exfil. But it's interesting to find out, to discover here, that it wasn't a solo after all. It was a team, and it was either 2 or 3. It's hard for me to get a good look at it. I think it was 3. And, yep, there's the guy that we heard on the comms a few minutes ago. They hold their own pretty good. In fact, they do some real serious damage. So let's just check this out until the end here.
Not done yet.
I do kind of like how that my one teammate took care of that guy by getting in the car that the guy was hiding in front of and just rolling over, and that was funny. There's that other LTV. It's still up, and there's guys in the chopper, and they're beaming the guy, my team that's trying to get in the chopper. It's chaos. It's absolute chaos. There's no organization, and I'm sure that my team was in a big party chat and they were trying to talk to each other, but it seemed like their communication was way off, because my team at this point are just being picked off like flies. And the reason I decided to continue to spectate and not leave the match here is because I started rooting for the other team. I thought, you know, this team that I was on was being a bully the whole time, and maybe, just maybe, they won't get to kill this team. And they don't. As you can see, I'm the only one that ended up making it out, because they got greedy and they got overconfident, and that team that they pushed wiped out the rest of them, jumped on the exfil helicopter, and bullies got what they deserved, in my opinion. So that's why I'm sharing this video. I thought it was a really fun one to watch, and even though it was my team ultimately that lost, I kind of felt like they deserved it. So I hope you enjoyed.